Hi everyone, this is Lara Hammock from the Marble Jar channel, and in today's video I will share how I use Trello to keep track of the movies and TV series that I am watching and that I'd like to watch in the future. So in my previous video on using Trello to keep track of the books that I'm reading, I mentioned that my mind is a bit of a whirlwind and it's nice to have my thoughts on a topic written down and visually available rather than just floating around in my brain or on little separate notes filed somewhere. So this is even more true for TV shows and movies. I don't know about you, but I jump around a bit as I'm watching things, particularly if a series is gruesome or dark. I cannot binge watch these series in the way that some people seem to be able to do. I need to take breaks. And if you are even slightly ADHD like me, any distraction means you may never be back. So I have dozens of series that I've watched portions of, and only some of that is deliberate. Most of it is just me forgetting and starting something else. Plus, after a while, I can't remember which episodes I've seen and which I haven't, and I don't have a lot of patience for rewatching stuff just to figure out where I am after months after the fact. Enter Trello to save the day. So Trello is a task management website and app that is based on the Japanese Kanban system. So I have an introductory video on Trello for those who are new to it. I use a different app for task management, but Trello is so flexible and so appealing that I still use it to manage projects and information. So this falls into the latter category, well, unless you consider watching TV a project, of course. Okay, so none of this is rocket science at all, but I always like to see what other people are doing before tailoring a solution to fit my needs. As I said, Trello is infinitely customizable, so you can make whatever lists, checkboxes, and labels work best for you. So my biggest board is Watch TV Series. So I put the word watch in the title to group all of these boards together. So unlike my other Trello boards, I keep my finished lists in this board over to the right. So that's because I have 3 different lists. Series that I have watched and I have no additional seasons coming, like The Sopranos. Series that I have watched but do have more seasons, like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And ones that I have watched and I don't need to watch anymore, regardless of whether there may be new stuff coming out. So for the ones with more seasons, I either enter each season in as a checklist with each episode as a checkbox, or to simplify, I just enter each season in as a checkbox. So this is the sort of information that I really don't want using up space in my brain. It is so nice to be able to see that I've only watched, say, 2 seasons of Goliath and that there is a 3rd season out. The first 2 lists in my board are what I am watching, but I have 2 lists. I have a list for mindless watching, which means I can be doing other cognitive activities when I'm watching it. I don't need to pay that much attention. The other list is one that I have to pay at least some attention to. So you can see that I have a bunch that I'm watching at the same time. This allows me to bounce back and forth between series without totally forgetting where I am or what I'm watching. I have a list for mystery series and a list for other recommendations. The cards usually represent a series, but sometimes represent a list of recommended shows. So when the card is a list of recommended shows, if I'm lazy, I'll just put a link to the website that contains the recommended list in the description. But if I'm doing it right, I will paste each of the shows that are being recommended in as checkboxes. The labels that I use are genre-based, so like historical fiction, documentary, thriller, etc. And I try to put the network or the streaming source in the title of the card. So I have another board called Watch Other People. So this contains all of the movies and TV shows that I'm watching with my husband, who has really different TV tastes than I do. Our Venn diagram intersects at crime thrillers and interesting documentaries. Plus the shows that I'm watching with my daughter are also on this list. Finally, I have a board named Watch Movies. So I confess I'm not great about watching new movies. Somehow watching a movie feels like more of a commitment than turning on a TV series despite the time involved. But we have so many streaming services that I feel like I should have some options lined up whenever I have the time to commit to a movie. So this is where I keep all the movies that I definitely want to see. In this case, instead of labeling by genre, I have them in lists by genre, starting on the left with documentaries and going over to crime/suspense. Again, I try to put the streaming service in the title. And that's it. Using Trello to keep track of all this information has really helped me clear out my head, determine what I really want to watch, and generally be a little less scattered in my watching. Plus, it's a really nice visual tool for on-the-spot decision making. Let me know what you think. Comments are always appreciated, and thanks for watching.